Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day, fantastic Sunday and everything. Some things are happening in the background with Arsenal, I'm not sure what. Apparently we have another injury worry with due to Kai Havertz. We're going to talk about that. Obviously there was a post-match press conference from Leipzig against Southampton. We're going to look into that, the Conman music and all that stuff. We're going to do the play ratings today as well, so definitely I'm looking forward to that with your input and everything. And on top of that, at the moment, as we are streaming and all that good stuff, Spurs are losing to Brighton. It was, I think, 2-0 Spurs, if I'm not mistaken. And now it is 3-2 Brighton, with Danny Welbeck scoring the latest goal. This is actually kinda nuts, I'm not gonna lie. It's the history of the Tottenham. We're 2-0 up, and now they're 3-2 down. Something amazing and something sometimes you thought you would never see. But we're not gonna dilly-dally, we're not gonna beat around the bush. We're gonna get straight into the press conference. After that, we're gonna do the player ratings. Then we're gonna talk about Kai Havertz and other things. So, if you're new around here, don't forget to smash thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell and all them good things. Don't forget to be live interacting in the chat. If you're watching this as a playback, of course, leave down a comment below. And we, as I said, gonna kick things off with the fact that it's more Coneman music. Coneman music. Obviously, after seeing us extend our unbeaten run to 16 games, Mikel Arteta spoke to the press conference, to the press, about our 3-1 win against Southampton. He was asked about Bukayo Saka's form, springing into life after conceding, Kai Havertz scoring again, and much more. So we're gonna dig straight in, we're gonna talk about this, we're gonna probably skip something as well because it's gonna be a random question which you never want to answer 100% because they tend to have few of those. So let's see. On the performance, first half I thought it was exceptional. The amount of dominance that we had in the areas that we played, the amount of situations and chances we created in open play and set pieces, our counter press worked really well there. It's unbelievable that we didn't score a goal. And to be honest, first 10 minutes specifically, we should have been at least 1-2 nothing up. Overall, the first half was average. It wasn't exceptional. Yes, there was press. Yes, we shut them down. They didn't do anything pretty much. At the same time, we didn't have a shot on target until like 43rd minute. So you cannot say that it was exceptional, especially if you don't score. So it was a really rough watch in the first half. Nearly fell asleep. Second half was a bit different, and it was absolutely kind of stressful as well. Then we started the second half. We were a bit sloppy, especially in the first 5 to 10 minutes with the ball, and then the game became a little more open. And to be honest, that has been kind of the pattern of Arsenal's game in general, especially if we don't score in the first half. Even if we score, to be honest, we are 1-0 up, 2-0 up. We are very sloppy in the beginning of the second half. It happened against Brighton. It happened also against, of course, against Atalanta and other teams. It happens quite a lot, especially in the first 5-10 minutes. And then if we don't manage to get control of the game, which we on occasion do, on occasion not, they generally get back into the game. The momentum kind of shifts in the game, and they come back and they straight are onto us. And that is something nobody wants to see. Remember, Leicester game, we were 2-0 up, it was 2-2 then, and yeah, the momentum shift was insane, and that was again due to the fact that in the first half we did some things. In the second half, again, we lost the thread of the game in the first 5-10 minutes. They grew into the game. Random unnecessary foul was given by Saliba, then we concede, and it went almost downhill from there pretty much. Luckily, it went up again. So it was a bit of a rough one, I'm not gonna lie, and it's apparent all the time. But then the chance they had, they scored the goal, and then again we've thrown everything away that we did in the first half. It was a completely brand new game and a really difficult context, and the team reacted incredibly well with a lot of composure, big belief, very good clarity in what we had to do. The crowd were exceptional, the subs were exceptional, and we managed to win again. And to be honest, subs did most of the job, to be our main guys. Besides Bukayo Saka and Havertz, if we didn't have those two, we were kind of screwed, I'm not gonna lie. Especially with Gabriel Jesus, who should be shipped off back to Palmeiras or to Saudi pretty much last night should have been done that. Because, not gonna lie, sorry, I am done with him. I am definitely done with him to full extent. It is actually nuts. And big up Nathan in the chat and Spuds, yeah, exactly. 2-0 up, now 3-2 down. And the best part is Danny Welbeck scored the third goal, which is actually freaking fantastic. It's the history of the Tottenham, as they say. It's actually kinda insane. It's Bottom Spurs and stuff like that. On Bukayo's performance and his leadership in the team, that's the maturity and the steps that players have to do. He's been long enough the team now. To be honest, Bukayo Saka has been carrying the team since he has been there pretty much. Especially since Mikel Arteta took over. Him single-handedly on his back has carried the team for years now. Hopefully it doesn't kind of come bite us in the ass in the next few years, but overall at the moment it's looking pretty darn good in a way. He has the capacity to change games, to decide games like many other players. Yeah, he has. The thing is, he is not consistent enough at times. Because he ghosted almost the whole game, and at the moment, he again was ghosting most of the game against Southampton, and then all of a sudden he pulled rabbit out of his hat pretty much. Hence he was Houdini in the previous stream I did, and called him the Saka was the Houdini pretty much, because he ghosts many times. He just gets the GA, and it kind of masks over his overall performance, and that is something I don't mind that, but to an extent I actually hate that, because there are times when you need performance and GA. And in the games when it has mattered the most, against Bayern Munich, against Porto, and games like that, he hasn't turned up. And that for me is a bit of an issue, I'm not gonna lie. Crazy how... Yeah, it's crazy how... To be honest, it's not crazy that Jesus outlasted Nketiah. It's crazy that people are still on board that Jesus will turn things around. Because for him to turn things around, he needs to score 20 goals this season in Premier League and win a title. That's pretty much what he has to do. He needs to carry the team. I don't think Havertz is injured. I think it's his fatigue, and it's good he withdrew. He has been playing a lot of games. We're going to speak on Havertz after the player ratings and the interview, definitely. But it's kind of weird that it kind of coincides. I kind of get why he would be drawn out. It's just very interesting that it happens so randomly. Havertz is one of those that never gets injured. Either it's a precaution so he doesn't get injured, or there is something here because he has played now 60 plus games for Arsenal, almost every single game, and he hasn't been injured whatsoever. Very rarely we have those type of players who play every single game without injuries. Granit Xhaka has been the latest one in a way. He doesn't miss games whatsoever. So it's very interesting in that regard. On Jesus and Sterling's performance, I was really happy. We made the changes we had to make them, and everybody deserves to play. In the first half it could have been very different to the result we had at halftime. After that we decided to change because the energy had to be changed, and we brought on 3 players that have the ability to do that, and they really helped. I'm really pleased with everybody. Wait. We decided to change because the energy had to be changed, which means the energy before that wasn't good enough. The energy before that wasn't good enough, which means again Jesus and Sterling are the reasons why. Like, come on, man. On needing a wake-up call for a second week, and that is a big issue, to be honest. Because if it happens against a bigger team, we might not actually recover. We can recover against teams like Leicester, Southampton, but if it happens against bigger teams, we could actually not recover on certain levels. So that could actually be very rough one for the future, especially if we don't learn from these mistakes. The wake-up call was that we conceded a goal. But the way we started the games and dominated the opposition, I think against Leicester we beat every record that was set before, and today will be something similar. But you need to score 3, 4 or 5, and if you don't, this Premier League game is on. Exactly. And that's why you need a proper striker. And you don't have to play Havertz in midfield, especially. That is also the big thing. It's on you this time, you know. But if we have a wake-up call, it's the goal they scored and we had to react and to that too. We did, and we did in convincing way. To be honest, yeah, the fact that we actually can react and make something out of this bad situation is great. The thing is, the luck also will run out at some point. Because last year our luck was not getting injured, pretty much whatsoever, for the key and big players. This season we are getting injured left, right and center. So that it's gonna pile up at some point. The luck is gonna run out. As much as I hate to admit this, but it's gonna happen. Definitely. Do you think we will make any January transfers? Can be playing Partey right back? So the thing is, we have 3 right backs in the team. Tomiyasu, Timber and White. And it's just a freak instance that all 3 of them just were not available for the full 90. White had injuries before, Timber had something, and Tomiyasu is just coming back. It was usually the situation with our left side, then we had most of the players injured, but at the moment we have the same issue at the right side. I'm not sure per se we need a right back. We don't need to sign a right back because we have the players to play there. I think we more need a striker, a forward in general, and a midfielder as well. We technically need like 2 or 3 players still to be on a proper rotation and not overplay and overexhaust our players. That could result in either poor game results, poor fitness for stamina, and actually long-term injuries as well. So I don't think defensively is the biggest issue. I think the attack and midfield is the biggest issue at the moment. Especially with the fact that we don't play Manieri as well. I don't know what's going on with that. On Bukayo Saka stepping up to another level. It's another step ahead in what he needs, what he wants, especially when. Do it at home, do it away, do it in big games, do it on some other games. When the team needs it, not when it's 3-0, that's what defines a top player. Exactly, the thing is, in big games, and he has done it on occasion, but he doesn't do it consistently enough. For me, for Bukayo Saka, so you can call him like a top winger, he needs to do it in those massive big games when basically everyone's expecting from you something magical and you just perform. Because against Southampton it's one thing, yes, great, but you should be performing against Southampton. But do this against Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan away, which we're gonna play very soon. Do it in those games and then we can talk. Because Arsenal's home record, even in Champions League, it's decent, it's good actually, let's be real. We have a fortress at home. The issue is when we go away. When we go away in those teams who know how to nullify our attack, who know how to dig deep defensively and then counter-attack us. Because we saw that against Sporting Lisbon in Portugal, we saw that against Porto in Portugal, we saw that against Bayern Munich in Germany, and we've seen it all the time. Our away form is nowhere to be compared to our home form. And as long as our away form will be this shambolic, it will be very, very rough for us in Champions League. Exactly, against Bayern he tried to get a penalty instead of shooting. That's the thing. There were 2 options. Either you get a penalty, or you try and shoot in that instance. Because the goal was empty, there was nobody there. The defender was sprinting back to try and get on the line, but the goal was pretty much empty. And in that instance, rather than going down, you should have maybe tried to get to the ball and then go down. Maybe that would have showed a bit more contact there. But people will argue whether it was a penalty or not. For me, it wasn't. Because you see these instances every single game, about 2-3 times per game. And if you gave every single time this type of penalty, then it would be legitimately like 6-7, 8-2, 8-5. The scorelines would be all the time. I know that in that instance, he should have shot. He should have gone for the ball. That was really annoying, but I guess it is what it is. Obviously, hindsight is a beautiful thing at the end of the day, but hey-ho. Kai's performance on confidence level. You can tell his confidence has grown. He takes the ball and he runs with the ball. He's on high press and he goes full gas. The way he holds the ball in position he takes in the box, he's an attacking midfielder. He plays as a 9. You don't know where he is. That is the football brain. His focus now is going to win the game. I'm going to do it. And that's a different thing. And that is, to be honest, very true. The way Havertz now is playing with confidence, how he has evolved, and how he's playing for Arsenal is completely different than he used to play against, for example, against Chelsea. Kai Havertz has played, I think, about 40 games less than at Chelsea, yet he's only 1 point away from equaling the point total tally he accumulated at Chelsea. Although one of those Chelsea points is one of the most important points you can get, scoring the winning goal in Champions League. So that carries a lot of weight, but at the same time, he has played almost double the games less for Arsenal, yet he's on the same points pretty much. So he has found his place, he has found his niche, and find a kind of calling in Arsenal's team. And this is the big thing. He's like a 10 but plays as a 9, and you don't know where he is because, as we like to take the fans and even us at sometimes take mick about him that he's a space invader and stuff like that. At the same time, you don't see many of these space invaders in general. The ones that see those gaps where you can make a run. The only difference is that for other teams, they have players who can make the pass and dare to make that pass when someone is running in those blind spot gaps. When Havertz makes these runs for Arsenal, many times, even if Odegaard or someone else sees it, we just don't make the pass. We play the safe option. We don't try to take the risk at times. Jorginho does it on occasion, I give him that. Trossard has done it on occasion and stuff like that, but Odegaard very rarely does those. He sees the run, but he doesn't do them. It's like he plays the safe option instead of that risky option, that higher the risk, higher the reward type of thing. He doesn't actually do that too many times. We need goals from midfield. Shoot with quality from outside the box who can break the deadlock. Valverde did that again. That's the thing. Odegaard does that for Arsenal. He just doesn't do it consistently enough. Because Odegaard for Arsenal tends to shoot from outside the box most of the time when we are in the dump, basically. When it's a draw and it's like 80th minute, or we are losing and it's 80th minute or forwards. Because when we are winning like 1-0, he never shoots from outside the box. We usually tend to resort to these type of shots from outside the box only when the time is either pushing us or it's a draw, it's an unfavorable result for us. It's many times that instance when we shoot from outside the box. Obviously we do it on occasion when we are winning or when it's a 0-0 still and it's an early stage of the game. But most of the time you can see Arsenal shooting from outside the box when basically shit has hit the fan, we are pressed for time, or it's an unfavorable result for the outcome for Arsenal. That for me is a hell annoying, I'm not gonna lie. We always try to play the perfect goal, to basically pass it in a way into empty net and stuff like that. But sometimes just take a shot. There might be a deflection, goalkeeper might parry the ball on the empty side of the corner where our player is making a run and stuff like that. Just take your chance. That is the thing. Although maybe Partey shouldn't, because he kills every single pigeon in London at that rate, but it is what it is. And Odegaard stopped scoring goals. Partey luckily go at will. I don't see Rice doing that. Maybe Merino, who knows. Odegaard skied against Villa to make it at 3-0. That should be his bread and butter, but that's the thing. He skied that to make it 3-0, but if you look before, he scored that against United. He has scored that, to be honest, twice against United. He has scored that on multiple occasions. But there are games when basically it's 2-1 to opposing side, and Odegaard just rips one from outside the box, on the edge of the box, and he scores it. Against Spurs, he scored that when we won 3-2. When the game the result didn't reflect the game, but when we went quite early 3-0 up. He scored one outside from the box as well. We just need players to be daring enough to pull the trigger, basically. And it feels like Arteta kind of wants to play the safe ball, retain possession, and not maybe take that risk. But at the same time, if you don't shoot, you don't score. You only miss the shots you don't take. That's what Michael Jordan used to say. And it's kind of similarly to football. You miss every shot which you don't take at goal. And sometimes the best option is actually to shoot, not just overpass it, which we tend to do quite a lot, which is also pissing off everyone as an Arsenal fan. Havertz scoring in 7 games in a row. He's practicing, good form, blah, blah, blah. Saka stats at his age. Let's see what he wins. On speaking with Ramsdale, whatever. On if there's temptation to rest Bukayo, yes there is, and we have taken him off a few times this season. We have to manage the load on him, but at the moment he's in a good place. This is one of the biggest worries for Arsenal fans in general, isn't it? This is one of the biggest worries for Arsenal. The fact that Bukayo Saka gets overplayed. Because he tends to get overplayed every single season, and when it comes to like game week 31, 32, you can see that his performance dips. He's like out of energy. He cannot run at times, it feels like. You can see that he's not himself. Maybe some injuries creep up. Maybe his stamina and fitness isn't there anymore and stuff like that. You can see that towards the end part of the season, he kind of fades away a bit. And that's why every Arsenal fan also was screaming to get a backup for Bukayo Saka. Because we need that rotation. We need to preserve him for the end part of the season. That is one of the biggest worries for Arsenal fans in the last years, definitely. On the schedule and injuries, it's been a very damaging period after international break. We had so many issues, a lot of injuries, very difficult fixtures, especially away from home, and some of them playing with 10 men, and team adapts. The team is so willing. I'm very pleased with the way we've come through this period, and we are in a good place. Good for that, to be honest, because the only thing you can do is to adapt and play to your best of your abilities when everything is going against you. So good for them, because we haven't lost yet, which is actually a great thing in general for Arsenal. Now, we're gonna do some player ratings as well. We're gonna shift into this, and we're gonna do some player ratings. So it might be a bit of a rough one, I'm not gonna lie. You may not agree, you may agree, we'll see about that. But what you're saying in the chat, it's just frustrating that we play low blocks 90% of the games and we struggle with the game plan to goal score first. The thing is, we play low blocks because teams, in a way, have to play that way 90% of the time to even try and get a result. Because most of the teams that play against Arsenal, they need points, and that is arguably the only way to get points, right? The thing is, we struggle to put them to the bed early because we don't score. We sometimes score early, and then everything is easy. If we score early, you pretty much can say that we're gonna win the game no matter what, because there's bigger chance than not that we're gonna score again, and not many teams is gonna put 2 goals past us. Leicester got a lucky bounce and incredible goal. That's what them took. A lucky bounce, deflection, and a very incredible goal by Justin. City put 2 past us. Again, they scored 1, they got lucky for the last one. Again, it took them thus to put down to 10 men and press us for the full 45 to basically get there. But otherwise, we don't concede much. We concede at worst, 1 goal a game. At worst. Usually we keep a clean sheet. So for us, it's not that big of a deal. But if we score 1 or 2 goals in the first half, more chances than not, it's guaranteed that we're going to win the game. Because nobody's going to score against us. That is the good thing. The issue is, if we don't score very quickly and we don't score in the first half, it gets ropey. And we saw that against Southampton. Because for them, it took 1 counter to make it 1-0. And if there is a chance that we're gonna go back and we're gonna score, there will be. We might score, but there might be also times when they generally shut up shop in such a tight space that we can't do anything. We will have to rely from shots outside the box. We will have to try and get a corner somehow and do a set piece FC settings once again. And we don't have that plan B or plan C to kind of counter that. And that still is a massive, massive worry. We saw that when it happened against Porto, when it happened against Sporting Lisbon, because we had some chances early on, we didn't score them, and then it instantly, the momentum shifted in the game. They scored, and we had to chase the game. Porto, they legitimately nullified us. We didn't get a shot on target, and they won it 1-0 at the stroke of full time. So if we don't score early and if we don't score in the first half, it's gonna be very nervy. It's gonna be the very, very nervy game. Now the thing is, we should have signed a striker to counter this issue. But we won't. We genuinely won't. And that is the big issue, especially with the fact that there are some rumors about this instance. About apparently that German Federation informed that Kai Havertz will be out of the upcoming games against Bosnia and Netherlands with knee problem. He'll be assessed by Arsenal staff in the next days and won't travel with the national team. Obviously, it could be a precaution in a way that we don't want to overplay him, so he stays. Maybe Arteta has made a call to Nagelsmann and said, you know what? Maybe this time you have Bosnia and Netherlands, you have enough quality, you have full crew, Bayer, you can sub on whoever you want up top, you don't need Havertz, you can win the game. All good, done and dusted. Maybe he stays with us for 1 international break, let him rest, relax, because he's been playing every single game, full 90 almost every single game, and he's on an excellent form, let him rest a bit, right? At the same time, it can be also the second one, that he is injured. And what we gonna do then? Obviously, it depends on severity of the injury. It depends how he looks. And it depends how long he'll be out for. By the way, look at what it has become to. I am worried that Kai Havertz might be injured for Arsenal. Like, seriously, what has it come down to? I'm worried that Kai Havertz might be injured for Arsenal and our attack will be screwed. Because if Kai Havertz actually is injured, right? We have to play this Bambaclat up top. The Bolivian Jesus. Lacazette with cheekbones. We have to play him up top. And his goal scoring record in the recent games is phenomenal, to say the least. He couldn't score in a brothel. He couldn't hit a barn door. He couldn't hit water if he was standing on a goddamn boat. That is a big issue at the moment. If Havertz is actually injured. If he's not, happy days. If it's a precaution, I'm all happy dandy about that. If he's not, oh my god. Genuinely, oh my goodness gracious. Same in the Atalanta game. We couldn't score even if we played 180 minutes. There will be more use. Exactly. Now the thing is, against Atalanta, it was I would say a tiny bit different. We went away. We had to get result first game. You could make some statements with the fact that Odegaard wasn't there. It's arguably the first game after after Spurs without Odegaard. We needed to kind of adapt to see where we stand at. Maybe you could see it like that. But overall, we didn't create too many chances to score. Yes, we had chances, we just didn't put them away. Plus, we could have easily lost that game. If David Raya doesn't make that world-class double save, we lose that game. And we are looking at the Champions League much more differently at the moment. But we got the draw, we won against PSG 2-0. Now we have to play 2 easy games against Shakhtar and someone else at home. No, Shakhtar and Inter away, that's not easy. But Shakhtar at home, which should be a must-win. So we are looking at it a completely different way. If we lost to Atalanta, it would be a bit different. It generally would be a bit different because it also would put us in a situation where more often than not, we are not getting into top 8 and we will have to go to round of 32 elimination stage to get into round of 16. At the moment, that 1 point actually could be very crucial. That also is very important to look at in that stage. Play Martinelli striker. To be honest, I would be tempted. The thing is, under Mikel Arteta, has he played at striker? I generally, on top of my head, cannot remember. Because he has played at striker under Emery. Emery was coaching him to be a striker. But under Arteta, I cannot remember on top of my head him being a striker. He has played for Brazil as a striker. He has scored even for Brazil as a striker. But in general, I don't remember. Don't remember if under Mikel Arteta he has played as a striker. That's only if Havertz obviously is injured. But yeah. Maybe play Trossard as a striker? As a false number 9 maybe? Something like that? Maybe that could work? Who knows? Genuinely, who knows? It is a bit iffy. Anyways. Let's get into player ratings. Let's talk about our players, how they performed, and let's talk about all that stuff. And we're gonna kick things off with David Raya. David Raya, what did he do in that game? Did he do much? I wouldn't say he did much, but he didn't have much to do as well. Because we were controlling the game. He conceded, obviously. Southampton hit the post twice, if I'm not mistaken even. So that is also not a great thing for him in general, but obviously shot that hits the post is not shot on target. He didn't have to do much. His passing was decent. He caught ball a few times, didn't have much to do. I think the one shot he had to save, he didn't. I'm gonna give him a 6. 6.5, 6, that's, to be honest, for me, that's fair. Genuinely fair. If he didn't have much to do, that is the biggest thing. You don't have a sample size to kind of put him against. Because he made a few very easy saves. Hit the post, Southampton hit the post once or twice. And the most dangerous shot Southampton had, they scored on. So it was in a counter in the opposite direction. So I'm going to give him a 6. 6.5, to be honest. 6.5 seems fair for David Raya. Genuinely seems hella fair. Moving on to Thomas Partey, the general, who in this time instead of number 6 played at right back. Which is obviously a bit of a worry in general, because when he played, I think one of the last times he played at right back, it was the time when we played Fulham at home, and they were 10-man Fulham, and we lost the game, and we drew the game 2-2. So Partey at right back, to be honest, this time was actually decent. I'm not gonna lie, it was actually decent. And you could see that our attack was struggling also due to the fact that it's Thomas Partey, he doesn't have legs. So he cannot push forward, overlap, invert and do stuff like that in the midfield, because if he gets caught out, he's kind of dusted instantly, let's be real. So it kind of makes sense that our attack was a bit struggling, let's just say that. But he had a good game. He was decent in passing, decent in duels. Yes, he lost the ball in few occasions, but overall he didn't come to anything. I'm gonna give him a 7. Solid, decent performance. I'm gonna give him a 7. William Saliba, standard Saliba performance, nothing more, nothing much. Yes, could have he tried to block the shot? Could have he blocked it? Maybe he tried it but didn't succeed, unfortunately. So I'm gonna give him a 7. Gabriel also gets a 7. I'm going to have to give the center backs a standard 7 because they did some things but they didn't have to do much. Again, if we control the game the way we did, they hit us on a few counters. Yes, they could have dealt with certain situations better, but overall, as much as I like to say, there were some squeaky times, let's be real, there were some dangerous times, but overall it was safe and sound. Calafiori for me though, it's an interesting one for me, Calafiori. Mostly because going forward, he's very good. I'm not gonna lie. The way he plays, he's going forward. Going forward, he tends to play at left wing, left center mid, right wing, number 10, striker, where he kind of floats into. Going forward, he's great. Defensively, though, I have more questions than answers at the moment about Calafiori. Because it was also against PSG, where he was 3 yards in front of a guy. They were chasing the ball, and by the time they got to the ball, the guy was 3 yards already ahead of Calafiori. And at the same time, also, he got spun multiple times against City. He got spun also by, not spun, but he got done over by Southampton wingers. He got done over by Dibbling. And Dibbling didn't do anything exceptional as well for me. He just put the ball past him and ran past him, and he just a bit out-muscled him. He didn't do anything exceptional. He gently a bit out-muscled Calafiori and got past him like no tomorrow. So defensively, Calafiori at the moment, for me, raises more questions than gives answers. He is at the moment a bit of a liability. Yes, you could say give him time to adapt, give him time to settle in and all that stuff. But the way he pushes forward, he leaves a massive gap defensively. And at the moment, he hasn't recovered defensively when he loses the possession or someone else loses possession. And that is for me a bit of a worry. For yesterday's performance, I'm gonna give him a 7 as well. But it's a very rough 7. If I was a bit more like angry or anything about the result or maybe something else, I would give him 6.5. But I'm gonna give him a 7 just because it's Calafiori, and I don't want to say give him time, but when he was going forward, he was actually very decent, and it helps a lot, to be honest, in that regard. Partey at right back was decent. It was also the best choice to make since Timber and White. Yeah, that's the thing. Toby had just returned, and arguably that was one of the only options. Unless Arteta would do the same thing that he did against PSG. Calafiori at right back and Kiwior at left back. That is the thing. Who says Havertz is injured? Fabrizio Romano says Havertz is injured. He's not going to international duty with a knee problem. He will be assessed by Arsenal's medical staff in the next days, and he won't travel with the national team, so it all depends what's gonna happen with him right now. Calafiori is good, that's the thing. He lacks the pace. He will get better. I fully agree. He will get better. I also prefer him over Zinchenko. 100%. But at the moment, the way the gap is left in behind and the way he's pushing forward, it's something similar like with Zinchenko, if you get what I mean. He's good going forward, he can pass the ball and everything, but he doesn't have the pace to get back, and if he loses the possession in the midfield, it is a bit iffy defensively. And that is the same at the moment with Calafiori. Obviously, Calafiori is new, he was injured, he needs some time and everything. You kind of get those reasonings, quote-unquote excuses to some extent as well. He will get better. The question is, how soon? Because there will be times when he won't be able to push forward as much as he does at the moment. Because if he does that, for example, against Mohamed Salah when we play Liverpool at home, it will be a whole different story. And it will be very interesting to see how he does against Salah, because when he deals against the mid-table lower end teams, he does good, decently good. When he was dealing against the City and Savio, he got spun multiple times. So the question is, has he learned from that, and will he improve? Because if he gets spun all the time by these top wingers, it's the same thing as with Zinchenko. Every time Zinchenko came against a top winger like Salah, even Trent, Sane, and he got spun all the time, he was crying on the pitch pretty much. So Calafiori needs to work. I think he's good defensively, but he just needs, I think, grow into league. It might be due to the fact that he has played last 2 seasons more at left center back than left back per se. Even though Calafiori, before the last 2 seasons, when he was playing left center back, he was mostly playing left back. So it kind of, maybe he needs to adapt back to the role he was used to be playing. But at the moment, it is a bit 50-50 here or there when he does go forward and when he doesn't come back. So for me, it's time will tell basically, but I wish the time would tell sooner than later, because we should know it quicker. I think Mourinho at 8 and Rice at 6 will cover better for Calafiori when he goes forward into attack. Could be the case, definitely could be the case, because Gabriel kind of is used to covering left center back, left back position with Zinchenko stinking out the place many times there. And Rice with the pace and energy and he actually, if he plays at 6, could cover that spot if necessary. I think that is the best assessment in that regard, because Partey doesn't have the legs to actually get back in that position if something falls flat. The thing is, will we see that? Will we see the formation where Rice plays as a 6, and then we play Merino, and then we play quote-unquote Odegaard or Havertz or whatever we play in that number 10, Trossard, Nwaneri, whoever we play in that spot? That's the thing. Will we see that? That is also a big question, because at the moment it doesn't look like Arteta is very keen on that. He's more keen on having Partey Rice double pivot. At the moment, at least. Maybe with Merino picks up the pace and picks up the speed, although he seems very slow at the moment on the pitch, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe Rice will go into that 6 role and Merino will go on that left 8 role. But obviously time will tell, we'll have to wait and see on that. Okay, moving on. Jorginho got hooked off in 61st minute. Was doing his best. Obviously the legs in the midfield is a bit of a yikes. It's really hard to judge basically our players in these games when we play against these quote-unquote weaker, lesser sides, when we control 70% of possession. Because we don't see the full reasonings on display how we are doing. We can only go from what we've seen. And if we go from that, I have to give Jorginho a 7. Because he didn't do anything wrong. He had some great passes between the lines. I'm going to give him that. He made some brilliant passes between the lines. But overall, throughout the whole game, he didn't do anything exceptional, basically. Let's just say it that way. But overall, I'm going to give him a 7 at the moment. We'll see how this goes. What do you mean by that? I want to start a show like yours. How will I start? What do you mean? Oh, what do you mean by that? Okay, Declan Rice. Huh. I'm not sure what to make of Declan Rice, because he's very inconsistent. Obviously, in the beginning of the season, he had some very questionable performances, to say the least. He said himself he's not back to full fitness and everything. He said that during the last international break. At the moment, he has picked it up. He's feeling bare on the pitch, you can tell. But still you can tell that something is missing. It feels like, again, that if he's not playing as a 6, it's like taking something away from Rice. It's like something in his game is missing. And that issue still persists. Obviously he could hit in the form, but overall against Southampton he was decent. He wasn't exceptional, but he wasn't also bad. Yes, he should get more than Jorginho. I would give Declan Rice a 7.5. He did some good tackles, he did some passes, but overall he didn't do anything exceptional, so it was just a good performance. Good performance. That is all I can say about Declan Rice. Nothing exceptional, let's be real. Because you should expect from that kind of a signing something much better. Rewatched the PSG game. At some point, Saliba and Calafiori inverted into the midfield to create a box with Rice and Partey. Raya, Gabriel, Timber back 3, Calafiori playing right 8. Yeah, that is the thing. That was the case. That was in the second half when it wasn't in the second half. I think it should have been in the second half, because Calafiori inverting to that side shouldn't be the case. To right side from the left back shouldn't be the case if he's playing there. If we have Timber there, it kind of seems a bit odd. Saliba against PSG was pushing was pushing in the midfield on some instances. I noticed that as well. It was very weird to some level, but at the same time it was working like a charm. What we tried to do is kind of nullify their long outlets, like to strikers and wingers like Barcola and everyone else. We tried to put a big man on them so they cannot get outpaced or lobbed, and that actually worked like a charm. We completely nullified them. That was what Luis Enrique was talking about after the game, so it worked like a charm, I'm not gonna lie. That was actually quite nice. Anyways, let's go to our attack. First things first, Raheem Sterling, Shilling, Raheem Pound, whatever you want to call him. He gets a 6 for me. He came on, he gets a standard 5 for lacing his boots properly and getting on the pitch. He gets an extra point to up to 6 for what he did in the first 5 minutes and basically running on the pitch. For overall what he did, he was very bad. He was very bad, genuinely. And we were playing against Southampton, not even a big team. We were playing against goddamn Southampton. He didn't do much. In the first 5 minutes, he looked somewhat lively. But overall, ultimately, he was the reason why we lost the first goal in a way. Because he got shoved off the ball like he is legit made of paper. He falls to the ground, looks straight at the ref, complains that it was a foul. By the time he has turned around, they're already on a counter and they have scored. Like, doesn't he have spatial awareness that someone's behind him gonna press him or what? He gets easily shoved off the ball and everything. He didn't create much, and maybe it will take time, but I don't think so. Luckily he's only on loan. We play legitimately 100k a week only for him, and I really hope we don't sign him full time. He gets a 6 for me. Not good enough. Not good enough. 6 for me. Moving on to Gabriel Jesus. How he has gotten more than Sterling is beyond me, because Jesus was worse than Sterling. Overholds the possession, misplaces passes, just never looks like he's gonna score, and when he shoots, he barely hits the target at that. I think his time at Arsenal is done. And if there's a chance for him to get sold in January and we bring in someone else, I would 100% do it. I don't think he's ready, not per se ready, but he's not good enough anymore. He's legitimately Lacazette with cheekbones. He's like basically Nketiah at the moment at Arsenal. He just runs around, looks like he's doing something, but he cannot score, he doesn't pass properly, and when he gets the ball, he loses almost instantly with overholding the possession. Yes, at times he has some moments of brilliance on the pitch, but ultimately they don't lead to anything. And I strongly believe that this could be the end. We as an Arsenal team overall have outgrown players like Jesus and Zinchenko. Yes, we just bought them 2 years ago. And at the time, it looked like players that should elevate our team. But the way we have grown in the last 2 years, we have outgrown those two players quite massively. They are not good enough. We are at the moment at the point where we have to sell them and get better players. Basically what Pep did with Zinchenko and Jesus. He knew that they are not good enough and they need to move forward on from them, so he sold them to us. And now 2 years later, we are at the same point. We have outgrown them as a team and we should be moving on from them, especially since they both are hella injury prone, and it doesn't look like Jesus has recovered from the injuries and the surgeries he's had on the same knee multiple times. Yes, when we just signed Jesus before the World Cup, he was actually doing great. And there was legit argument to be made that if he stays fit, we actually could do something here. But for Brazil in the World Cup, he gets injured, and pretty much he has been more or less injured ever since. And he hasn't recovered almost whatsoever. If there's a chance that we can sell him, 45 million, sell him this January and bring in someone else. For me, Jesus was the worst player on the pitch against Southampton, and I'm gonna give him a 5. Well, not 5, 5.5. If Sterling gets a 6, I will give him 5.5. Jesus was, I'm not gonna lie, quite shocking, to say the least. Anyways, moving on to the rest of the two that are contenders for man of the match. Bukayo Saka and Kai Havertz. Now, Bukayo Saka, 2 assists and a goal. Didn't do much throughout the whole game, ironically enough, but he did what Bukayo Saka usually does. He has a very average performance, below par performance, but at the end he somehow gets GA at the end of the day. And which is all good. I don't mind that he gets GA and he basically carries the team, because we scored 3 and he basically was the reason we scored all 3. Especially the third and especially the second goal with that pass that went to Martinelli was phenomenal, let's be real. But the thing is, Bukayo Saka, one thing I wish he could do is combine the performances with the GA. Because he tends to have either or. Either Bukayo Saka is on smoke and he doesn't get GA, or he has ghosting the game and at the end he gets GA. If he could be on fire and get GA, and especially against the big teams when it matters quite a bit, he would be phenomenal. The issue with him is that it's quite inconsistent with him. He's usually either or. He's not both at the same time. And that is the biggest issue for me with Bukayo Saka. Yes, he should be being a bit more direct, maybe implement some more skills into his repertoire. He's doing that, but it's not looking that it's kind of come off as of yet. Maybe use his right foot a bit more. But at the end of the day, as I said, he's either or. He's either hot, on fire, but he doesn't get GA most of the time, or he's cold, in other words, goes the game, but he gets GA. If he could be hot and get GA, that would be fantastic. That is something that every Arsenal fan would like to see, because everyone's happy that he is on fire, everyone's happy that he gets GA. Imagine if there's a big game in Champions League, let's just say against Inter Milan at San Siro, for example, and he is on fire and he gets GA and we win the game. That would be one of those statement performances that Bukayo Saka needs to try and cement his name in those one of the best wingers in the league type of situations. That's the thing. Yeah, I agree. To be honest, I don't care about the performance as long as the output is consistent. I'm fine. That is the case. I don't mind that because Bukayo Saka kind of many times is like the basically the flag carrier for this, because he doesn't have the best performances many times, but he gets his GA consistently. That's why he is arguably goals plus assists our top point earner every single season. He doesn't have the best performances, he just gets GA, and his ratings or FOTMOB, Sofa Score, OneFootball, wherever you want to watch it is high because he gets the GA. That basically gets it up. If he doesn't have GA, he gets about 7.2, 7.3 performance. That is the thing. I don't mind that, but the thing is, everyone speaks as Bukayo Saka being world class and everything. To get to there, he needs to have those combined performances, performance plus results. He needs to have both, because you need to be able to have these instances, especially in the big games. Because if he wants to be kind of talked about in the same category as one of the best wingers in the world, he needs to have both, at least sometimes, at least once or twice a month. Because usually he has like a mediocre performance, but with GA he just gets a good result on Sofa Score, Opta stats and all that stuff. Exactly. Individual performance only matter once you win trophy first. Doesn't matter if performance and results don't win anything. Exactly. Look at Kane. Yeah, Kane has a lot of individual trophies. Golden boots, top goal scores. Even in Bundesliga, he has a golden boot, which is a cannon, ironically. As an Arsenal fan, it's very ironic, by the way. But overall, yeah. Team-wise, he has fuck all. Let's be real, he has nothing. And for Bukayo Saka, he might not be the flashiest and everything. He gets points on the board in terms of points for Arsenal and points for himself. I just wish there were some performances. That's the only wish. That's the only criticism I have of Bukayo Saka. I'm not talking about per se for team and everything. I just wish sometimes, you kind of go into a game, Saka gets GA, but he actually cooks everyone. Like, you want to some of those instances. Like, remember he scored that long shot against United. Like, he cut in, took on 3 defenders, get past Eriksen, slats it back. He was on fire in that game. Something like that, if you get what I mean. I'm all cool with him not having performances and getting GA. But I would love to have him both. At least sometimes. Big up Naga Gunner. Big up, big up, big up. But for Bukayo Saka, I'm giving him a 9. I'm giving Bukayo Saka a 9. 100%. And Havertz, for me, scored a goal. Great goal to make it 1-1. 10-yard pass by Bukayo Saka. Basically, that's why he got an assist and everything. So, yeah, Havertz actually had a good game. Havertz is on smoke for Arsenal. That is something I really like. He's actually found his place in Arsenal's team. He's performing well. Nobody's complaining anymore about 65 million, by the way. All of a sudden, last year when he was playing in the midfield, everyone was saying, why the hell did we sign him? Why was it 65 million? We could have signed someone else. Myself included, by the way. Myself included, I'm admitting to that. Now, in the second part of the season, he gets put up a striker. He starts to score goals, get some assists. Those talks kind of quiet down a bit. This season, he has started the season on fire. And pretty much, you don't hear him talking about his price tag whatsoever, besides the song that Arsenal fans are singing about him when he scores. And that is something I really like. As long as he keeps scoring, having these performances and all that stuff, nobody's gonna talk about the price tag. Because the price tag is a bit too high for Havertz, let's be real. 45, 50 million, I would say okay. 65 is a bit exaggerated price we paid for him, but if he keeps scoring like this, he keeps performing like this, getting like 8.0 performances quite a bit every single game almost, and he keeps scoring, carrying the team in a way, scoring in decisive moments, and he doesn't take 65 chances to score one goal, nobody will complain. Let's be real, nobody will complain. The best thing to do in these instances to shut the annoyed fans up and haters up is to score goals. Because in that instance, you completely forget his price tag. And Havertz gets, for me, from yesterday 9 as well. If it comes down to man of the match between Saka and Havertz, I'm going to give it to Saka just because of GA. But solely on GA. If Havertz had, let's just say, 2 goals and Saka had 1 goal, 1 assist, I would give it to Havertz. If Havertz had a goal and assist and Saka had goal and assist, I would still then give it to Havertz. But since Saka got more GA, I'm going to give it per se to Bukayo Saka for this game, definitely. Now, moving on to subs. Oh, bloody hell, this will be rough. We're gonna move on to subs. Where are we? Gabriel Martinelli came on, scored a goal, looked very lively. I'm gonna give him starts at 6 technically. He scored a goal, looked very lively. He was running across the pitch like a madman. I'm gonna give Gabriel Martinelli an 8. He played half an hour and he was fantastic, I'm not gonna lie. He was actually one of those versions of Martinelli I would like to see more often, I'm not gonna lie. He was fighting for every ball, he was sprinting like no tomorrow, he was using his pace advantage the right way. That is something I really liked about him yesterday, and he needs to do that more. Trossard came on. I'm gonna give Trossard a 6.5. Did some things, but nothing exceptional. Mikel Merino came on. Mikel Merino was a weird one because he came on. I was watching the game, and I kind of didn't notice him whatsoever. Is that bad? Is that bad that I didn't notice him? Mikel Merino came on. He played half an hour, and I almost didn't notice him. I genuinely, the most of the time I noticed him, it was because there was a close cut from camera on him. Yes, I remember him making some passes, trying some tackles and press, but overall I remember him looking a bit slow, and that's about it. I genuinely don't remember him doing anything on the pitch. How wild is that? Is it just me, or am I just blind? I'm gonna give Merino a 6.5 as well, but it's hella weird. It is hella weird. Tomiyasu returned. Tomiyasu almost scored, didn't he? Didn't he yesterday? He had a header or something. I think there was something in those lines. I'm gonna give Tomiyasu a 6.5 as well. And Kivior as well didn't play much. He gets a 6, standard 6, nothing more, nothing less. Cannot give him more than that. Anyways, let's see what you are saying in the chat. Martinelli 7.5/8 is fair. Yeah, I'm giving him an 8 definitely. My ratings: Raya 6, same. Calafiori 6.5. I'm giving him a 7, but yeah, could be. Gabriel 6.5. Saliba 6. I give the whole back line a 7, and Partey 7.5 if I'm not mistaken. Rice was 6. I gave Rice a 7. I get that. Jorginho got a 5. I gave Jorginho a 6, I think it was. I don't remember anymore. That's kind of wild. Should have wrote them down. Havertz 10.5. I'm giving Havertz a 9. Havertz was phenomenal yesterday. Saka gets an 8. I get that. I'm giving Saka a 9 just because of the GA. If he didn't get GA, he would be a 7.0 performance for me. And Saka for me is also man of the match just because of GA. If I take away the reasonings why the points go up in these instances, like goals, assists, and all that stuff, for me, Havertz is man of the match without shadow of a doubt. Havertz is full-on man of the match for me. But if I have to include GA and stuff like that, I'm giving it to Saka. If I don't, if I can be whoever I want to be, to be honest, my stream, I can do whatever I want to do. I'm giving man of the match to Kai Havertz. Screw you all, Saka fans. Havertz for me is man of the match. 9.0 ratings, just like Saka, and Havertz for me is man of the match. Yeah, Havertz is man of the match for me. Jesus, Sterling 2, Jesus 2. Okay, that's a bit harsh, but I'm giving Jesus a 5 and Sterling a 6. Yeah. Jesus was the worst performer on the pitch by a mile. Havertz 10 man of the match. If I was Havertz, I would complain that I'm doing all the dog work out of possession, playing unselfish, scoring clutch goals, even a leader, but get shafted to midfield for that is the big thing. That is the big thing. Because for me personally, in this game per se, especially if you play Thomas Partey as a right back, you put Jorginho, you put in Rice, you put Havertz as a 9, and you put Wanyeri as a number 10. That was for me, one of the biggest things. This was the prime game, for me personally, to start Wanyeri as a number 10. That was the prime game to do it. Because arguably there won't be a better game to do so. Yes, you could say maybe Preston away, maybe, and stuff like that, where most likely he's going to start, let's be real. But other games, you're not going to start him against the big teams, let's be real. You're not going to start him against Liverpool's, against even Fulham's and stuff like that. If you want to start your 17-year-old midfielder, creative midfielder in any game, it would be against lower opposition side at home. Yet Arsenal decided and Arteta decided not to do so. I was kind of confused by that. And also I was kind of confused that he didn't play whatsoever. That was also hella weird. Was he? Yeah, he was on the bench together with Skelly, Oyedeji, and Neto. I was very surprised that, for example, Wanyeri didn't play. It's like, or even Oyedeji didn't play. Obviously, Saka rescued the game, so maybe that's why. But there is no reason for Wanyeri not to play, because he didn't play against PSG. Skelly got subbed on against PSG. He didn't play yesterday against Southampton. So what is happening there? Like, generally, what is happening there? If Ethan doesn't start versus Ipswich, there are serious questions. To be honest, let's look at Arsenal's schedule. Let's see games in general and where Wanyeri could start. Just as a basically as a potential thing. Okay, I hate this that I have to move it around all the time. I genuinely hate this, but it is what it is. Anyhow, so he's not gonna start against Bournemouth, let's be real. Away against Bournemouth after international break, he's not playing. Maybe he could get subbed on against Shakhtar Donetsk if we do the job early. Against Liverpool, I don't see Arteta starting him or playing him whatsoever in a way. Maybe, but as a sub in 85th minute, maybe if all is done and dusted. Preston, I think he will start. I generally believe against Preston, he will start 100%. Newcastle, no chance. Inter, genuinely no chance. Chelsea, there is no chance. Nottingham Forest at home, maybe in Wanyeri could play. Sporting away, no chance. West Ham away, no chance. United away, no chance. Fulham away, no chance. Monaco, yeah, no chance. Generally, you really think that the game against Ipswich, which is in 2.5 months, and at Christmas, by the way, do you think that will be the game where there's the next start for Ethan Wanyeri? You think so? Because for me, I can see him maybe start against Forest, maybe. Obviously, Preston, he could be starting or should be starting. Maybe Shakhtar Donetsk. I could make an argument for him to start against Shakhtar Donetsk. Maybe. Maybe, just maybe. But for me, the biggest reason I wanted to look at this schedule and the future games is reasoning because in October, there's a big possibility that Arsenal should be going unbeaten. Genuinely. Win against PSG, win against Southampton. We should be winning against Bournemouth. We should be winning against Shakhtar. We should be winning against Preston. Liverpool at home is the rough one. Obviously, Liverpool in preseason got one over us. We are also without Odegaard. However, at the same time, we are playing them at home. And at home, we tend to do very good against Liverpool overall. Obviously, the biggest thing is how Arne Slot has changed a bit. Liverpool is the way, if you compare it to Klopp. Klopp was basically, in a way, rock and roll all-out attack type of football, in a way, and the defense was a bit in the background. What Slot has done, he has slowed down the attack a bit, but at that cost, he has made their defense much more solid. That is, for me, the big thing. Obviously, at the moment, if Alisson apparently has a hamstring injury, so he will be out for quite some time by the looks of things. So that is also not a good thing for Liverpool. That's definitely not playing them in a good hand whatsoever. Obviously, the game is in 3 weeks, exactly 3 weeks, 21 days. So this will definitely be a big question mark, what's going to happen there and how we're going to play against them. Will there be injuries and everything? So we'll still have to wait. But for me, there's a big chance that in October, we could go undefeated, and we should be going undefeated. I know the Liverpool one is the biggest question mark, but for me personally, the way we have fared against Liverpool at home, we should be getting, I don't want to say this, but draw minimum from this game. If we want to win the league, we should be beating them at home. Because the big test in that regard will be Anfield for sure. But for us to, even if we want to play for the league and everything, we have to beat Liverpool at home. Because if you look at Manchester City schedule at the same time compared to Arsenal, right? In October, they have Wolves away, no, Sparta home, that's easy, and they have Southampton at home. So they will be winning every single game. Let's be real. City will be winning every single game this month. Obviously, Cup, nobody cares, it doesn't affect Premier League. But overall, they'll be winning every single game. So basically, we're talking about Wolves and Southampton here. Now, the big thing is Liverpool. Because Liverpool has had quite easy start of the season, if you ask me. Because if you think about it, the Liverpool start of the season, right? It was, where is it? Ipswich away, Brentford, United away, but that's their playing ground pretty much. Forest, where they lost to Forest, interestingly enough. Obviously, AC Milan, Bournemouth, Wolves, Bologna, and Crystal Palace. Now, after international break, going gets tough for Liverpool. Chelsea at home, Leipzig away, Arsenal away, Brighton away, Brighton at home, Leverkusen at home, Villa at home, then they have a pause with Southampton away, and then they have again Real Madrid at home, Manchester City at home, Newcastle away. So Liverpool has very insane, in the next 2 months, very nuts schedule running up. Arsenal have I would say, the craziest start of the season. The first, I would say, 10 to 12 games. Liverpool have the craziest mid-season, from about 12th, I would say, till, well, 10th to about 20th game. They have very rough schedule coming up. Very rough schedule. But City have the easiest one, don't they? Overall. Liverpool have it, they have very rough. Liverpool have it very, very rough schedule coming up. If you look at City, they will have Bournemouth. Obviously, they have after October, have Bournemouth away. Okay, Sporting away will be very interesting. Brighton away. Spurs at home. Liverpool away. Nottingham Forest, Palace. When is their rough patch? Where is City's rough patch? Okay, here we are. Chelsea at home, Club Brugge at home, Arsenal away, Newcastle at home, Liverpool at home, Spurs away, Forest away, Brighton at home, Leicester at home, United away. Okay, they have the rough patch towards the second part of the season, from what I understand. So Arsenal have the roughest start. Liverpool have the roughest mid-season scheduling, apparently, and City have arguably one of the roughest end parts of the season, because Arsenal, if I'm not mistaken, have it somewhat easy towards the end part of the season. Well, to be honest, I say that, but Chelsea, Fulham, Everton, Brentford, Ipswich, Crystal... Here we go. Liverpool away, one of the last games of the season, and Newcastle at home. To be honest, it is a rough one. I'm not gonna lie. It's hell of a rough one if you look at it overall. It is hell of a rough one. Forest are a good outfit. Maybe Preston and Shakhtar, he's could be. For me, I think there could be an argument made for Ethan to start against Shakhtar. I think there could be an argument made for that. We should be beating Shakhtar no matter what, so Ethan might be actually a good start. Yeah, Liverpool have a very crazy run coming up. It's like till Christmas, starting from this point till Christmas, they have super rough schedule coming up. It will be very interesting to see how they fare through them, because Liverpool's biggest issue overall for me is the squad depth. Similar like Arsenal, but Arsenal somehow have bigger squad depth than Liverpool. Liverpool, if they get hit with 2-3 injuries right now, that is excluding Alisson's injury, it could call crumbling down very quickly. That will be very interesting. Not to mention the fact that I read today in Rumor Mill that Real Madrid are looking to sign maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold in January. Mostly because it was yesterday confirmed that Dani Carvajal against Villarreal in the last 5 minutes of the game torn his ACL. So the only right back they have at the moment is Vasquez, and that is definitely not a good thing for Real Madrid. So they might be looking at to sign maybe Trent very quickly here. That will be very interesting to see how January develops in that regard, because there are quite a bit of injury issues in general. Yes, yeah, exactly. Jota and Konate are very injury prone. To be honest, Salah tends to get injured at sometimes during the season as well, ironically, although he's very injury durable in that instance. It'll be very interesting to see how Liverpool fare with that. Yeah, that's the thing. Nasty Carvajal injury. I'm wishing. Exactly, Carvajal is 32. By the time he gets back, he'll be 33, nearing 34 pretty much. So, for him, more chances than not that his career is pretty much over. Because at that age to recover from an ACL, it's very, very rough, to say the least. So it will be very interesting what Real Madrid does in winter. Because in winter they need to sign a right back if they want to win Champions League, La Liga and everything. So it will be very, very interesting to look at, because there already are links that Real Madrid are going to try and sign Trent in January. Maybe. It's just a rumor at the moment, but to be honest, given that he's out for longest time, it's actually not that great for them. But yeah, it is what it is. But overall, yeah, at the end of the day, we will have to wait and see what happens. Of course, on this note, I think I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new around here, don't forget to smash thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell. You have been freaking fantastic. Thank you guys. Obviously, tomorrow is Monday. Not a great thing to be honest for anyone, let's be real. You have to prepare already for hard work week and everything. So take care, stay safe, enjoy football, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Ligue 1. Quite a bit of football still to be played this evening. Hope you enjoy it. You have been freaking fantastic. Big up everyone in the chat. Big up Naga Gunner. Big up All Slice. Big up Nathan. Big up Nathan. Big up. Thanks for the stream. Have a good week. Thank you for dropping by, and thank you. Hope you have a great week as well. Genuinely, especially with the international break coming up. Oh my goodness, that will be hella boring. I don't know even what to do at the moment during these 10 days. I don't have anything planned at the moment, as wild and as bad as it sounds, I'm not gonna lie. So I still have to figure out what kind of streams to make and do, of course. And yeah, let's sit and wait and see what they say about Havertz. Is it serious? Is it just precaution? Or is it just a smokescreen just for him to stay with Arsenal and not go international duty? Let's just wait and see. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, take care, and see you all tomorrow.